Hi friends, welcome here. I am so excited to share all of the books that I read in January. This is my January wrap up. It was a very solid first month of reading for me. I was in such a reading mood. I'm in like the opposite of a reading slump, which is the best feeling ever. So I read 11 books. I will share them with you. There's a mixed bag of reviews here though. DNFs all the way up to 5 stars. So I'm so excited. I'm gonna start with like the best books and work my way down. So let's start with 5 stars. So the first book that I gave 5 stars in 2024 is Can't Help Falling by Courtney Walsh. This book was so fun. I really loved the writing in particular. Like, I feel like the characters were so relatable. Their thoughts and what they said and just the situations, it felt real, it felt authentic, entertaining, and funny, and I just really enjoyed reading it, and it was very fun. So I definitely would recommend this book. It is a clean romance. There's no faith content, but there's no language. They kiss and that's it. And I love the trope. That's the main thing. Like, it's childhood friends to lovers and like brother's best friend, or no, best friend's brother. And I just love that trope. And there was no like unnecessary fighting in this book, which I also very much appreciated. So yeah, this was the first book I gave 5 stars. It was great. Okay, the next 5 star is Defend the Dawn by Bridget Kemmerer. And this was so unexpected for me because I gave Defy the Night, which is the first book. I read that in December. I'll link my December wrap up down below if you want to see my thoughts on that book. But I found it very slow in parts and I just couldn't justify giving it anything higher than a 3. But this book, Defend the Dawn, I think I just really got attached to the characters at that point, and then the plot, in my opinion, was so much more interesting. There was kind of like 2 sides going on where like you were following one group of characters doing a thing and then another group of characters doing a thing, and I thought it was just so well structured. I was hooked from the first page, honestly. Like, it gets into like action right away and like things are happening right away, and then just truly like the way that it all plays out and the ending, like I was very much impressed and I liked it a lot. For this book there was no language, and yeah, there was like one makeout scene and that was it. So it is clean, which is so nice, and it's YA fantasy, so pretty much this is continuing the story, so you definitely have to read them in order, obviously. But you follow this kingdom where there's like this fever going on and they don't know like how to cure it and how to stop it. There's this one thing called the moonflower petal that helps cure it and like helps them stay healthy and fight off the fever if they have it. But there's definitely corruption in how people get this petal to get the elixir that they need. So you follow the perspective of the prince of the kingdom and then also an apothecary girl who like knows how to mix this and everything. There's 2 perspectives going on in the first book and you see how they collide. And it's definitely fun. It's a solid like fantasy kingdom and I'm invested. So I definitely want to read the 3rd book because this 2nd book like just blew me away. Okay, the next book that was so close to 5 stars was Falling for Your Best Friend by Emma St. Clair. This is book 4, I think, in the Love Clichés series. And this is in my Read in the New Year reading vlog. So if you want to see more thoughts, I'll link the vlog down below. But this was like basically a 4.5. I really loved all the aspects that I loved, but then there were parts that I found just weren't necessary or weren't interesting, or I skimmed through them. So it didn't feel like it was a full 5 stars, but all the parts that were good, I felt like were 5-star level. So pretty much you follow these 2 characters where this guy is like best friends with this girl. She has a bunch of brothers and he's just like a part of the family. They have known each other since university and they're such a good pairing. He tried to kiss her when they were younger and she slapped him. And then ever since then, he felt like there was a wall up, so like he never tried again. But now their like feelings have grown as they're older, but she's still like on the fence. And pretty much like it's her coming to terms with, I do love him, but how do I like accept his love? How do I accept physical affection? Physical affection is very difficult for her, and you get a lot of like character development in the girl, and that's the part that I loved. I thought it was so well done and I was very invested. And I just found the storytelling around that part of it was so solid. Plus their relationship, like even their friendship, everything that they interacted with, it all felt so real and well written, and I just loved reading it. But then I feel like the parts in between of them communicating just felt kind of dull or like not that engaging. So whatever. But ultimately, I would recommend this book. I really liked it. It's the strongest, I feel like, of this series so far, and it is clean romance. So there's no language, there's only kissing, and I love it. So technically, I did reread Powerless in this month because I got the audiobook. So at the beginning of the month, I got the audiobook just for a week long, so I didn't finish it in time, but then I got it for the full amount of time, and I finished it, and it was great. So my third reread of this book, or third time reading it, I still love it. Like, there's something about this story. It's just everything that I would want a YA fantasy to be, because it like centers around the romance, but it's so clean in my opinion. Like, there's still things being said, but it feels YA to me. So it feels kind of safe and tame, even though like you could argue that it's not. But there's just something about this book that I love. There is some language in here. There's like light swearing. It's not all throughout, and it is very light, but like it is there. The tension, I felt like was well written. I liked it, and it didn't feel over the top and like gross. So it worked for me. I don't know, but I gave this 5 stars once again. And so that was great. And highly recommend the audiobook. It was very well done. I enjoyed it a lot. There's a character for Peyton and for Kai, so they did a great job. Okay, next I read One Wrong Move by Danny Petrie. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed this, which is such a relief because this is a review book, and I will be getting a free copy in the mail once it is out. Oh, actually, yeah, it releases in February. So it is coming out, and I would recommend it. This is a new series for her, and it's strong. Like, I think the main thing is I have to get attached to the characters. I have to get attached to like the group that she's writing about. And it just didn't happen for me in the Killing Tide series. So I just couldn't read it because it was so like, I didn't care what was happening. But for this, I think just the dynamic of like all of these siblings. I mean, there's only 3 of them. So you follow this family where there's 2 brothers and a sister, and each one of them like has a pair, which is my favorite thing. Okay. And I'm assuming that the continuing books will follow each pair. Thank you. Okay. So in this one, you follow one of the brothers, and he is like a private investigator, and he is investigating this art heist that happened. And he ends up having to work with this girl who is like an art insurance person. So she comes to check it out for insurance reasons, and then he is like actually investigating. So they work together, and it is a romance between them. And it was like just high stakes enough. You got perspectives of the bad guys, which was creepy. And I really liked, because like every scene with them together was great. And there was good faith content. Like, honestly, I just feel like the way it was written was really great. It did feel like there was boring parts, like, I don't know, just kind of the back and forth of like, oh, they got attacked again. Oh, what's gonna happen? Oh, who did it? Whatever. Like, I don't care that much about the mystery part of it, but the family dynamics, the characters, the romance, all of that, loved. So it was definitely a 4-star for me, and I will for sure be continuing the series. I am very happy to read more Danny Petrie because I do love her writing, but just sometimes like it is almost too action heavy for me, for my taste, and this felt like less action and more like characters and romance, you know. So yeah, I would recommend it. Okay, next 4-star. The Housemade by Frida McFadden. This, like, I remember when this first released, like, people were nuts over this book. Like, this was crazy. People just loved this book. And I just never really cared because I'm like, domestic thrillers, maybe I'm growing a taste for them, but normally they don't interest me. But this one, definitely 4 stars, because I felt like the storytelling and like the progression of the plot was really great. Because I don't read thrillers very much, I definitely can be tricked really easily. Like, I don't read into things. I don't have like a ton of background on what twists could be. So what would I know? I couldn't really guess anything, but I will say, like, once the twist happened, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, which I like. I like realistic thrillers for sure. And then, like, once we knew what the twist was, there was like some explanation that we got for like what happened to make that be the twist, which I really enjoyed. Like, we got a full explanation, which is nice. So basically, this girl, she is an ex-con, She went to jail for murder, okay? And she's trying to find a job, but she can't hold a job. And so she finally gets this job being the housemaid for this super rich family. And things are weird when she gets there because the wife really is unreasonable in every way. And the wife like comes across as normal, but then all of a sudden doesn't. It's almost like she's bipolar. And I will say that part was like so annoying because literally the wife was like so crazy. And I was like, okay, where is this going? What? But then of course there is a reason for everything, which I need to remember about thrillers, but like I don't think that way. I just am like, I read what's on the page and I'm like, huh? Why is it happening like this? And then it just keeps going, and I thought it was very exciting. I liked the ending a lot, enough that I definitely want to read the next book. And then I will say there was some language in here, some F words. Actually, wait. So there was no language actually up until like right here. And then when the twist happens, that's when language comes in. And there's like some F-bombs, but they were very mild. Like it was maybe a collection of like 5, I want to say. So I was fine with it. And then there is mentions of bedroom times, but it's completely closed door. We aren't in there with them. So I was comfortable with it. And I would recommend it if that sounds good to you. And I'm glad I read it, honestly. It was definitely an easy read and it goes by really fast once you like get into the story. It took me probably about like 80-ish, 90-ish pages to be like, to get over kind of the annoyance of the wife, but then you figure out what's going on. It's like, oh, okay. So then I did read 3 kind of like Kindle Unlimited books that were all 3 stars. And I don't really care to like explain much about them just because they were 3 stars and I probably won't like mention them ever again, but whatever. So first was a Christmas book, First Kiss at Christmas. I think this was the Lee Tobin McLean book. It was fine. Once again, 3 stars. This was the first book that I finished. I started it in December, so it's pretty vague. I do remember it being clean. That's all I got. Okay, moving on. And then Fake Fiancé at First Sight. This one was funny. I feel like the fake fiancé parts was realistic enough that I enjoyed it and it was enjoyable. I liked the romance. I liked the characters, but it did feel a little long. Like there was just parts that I was like, I don't care about this, so whatever. And then what was the other one? Not Happy Campers. Then I read Not Happy Campers, but I don't remember. Wait a second. I thought this was the fake. Okay, I read another fake engagement. Okay. Okay, so there was another fake engagement in Not Happy Campers. This was fake engagement too. What was the fake fiance then? No, I don't. Okay, they're kind of forgettable. It is what it is. But they were all clean, no language, so that's why I read them, but they're forgettable, so I'll leave it at that. Okay, then I gave 2.5 stars to Drowning by TJ Newman. I am filming a thrillers reading vlog, so this book will be in that video, so I won't go into too many details, but pretty much I just didn't connect with the writing style. It had a lot of characters, a lot of different like perspective jumping, which kind of took me out of the story. It also felt slightly more technical, so there was stuff they were talking about that I just had trouble picturing, I guess. And then there was a lot of language, like serious F-bombs every page. So yeah, I don't know if I'll read any more from this author just because the language was pretty bad. Yeah. Okay, and then my one DNF of the month is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I just have seen this book around, hearing that it's slow burn, and I wondered if that meant maybe it was on the cleaner side. So I DNF'd it, I think at chapter 10. So, and I was the ebook, so I don't know how many pages that is, but basically it felt like just such a toxic relationship, a toxic masculine dude that I was like, ew, why is this desirable? Like, I just felt like the guy was being portrayed as so hot, but aloof and like no emotions and kind of rude, but like you forgive him for it. And I just hate that. I don't want it to be like romanticized that the guy can just treat you however he wants. and that you just put up with it because he's so hot, and oh, there's a reason why he's being rude, so I guess it's fine. I just can't get on board with that. And so yeah, there was like light language. It wasn't a lot of language, and it wasn't even that like derogatory in terms of like the sexual stuff, because I wasn't there yet. Like, it truly is slow burn. And I will say the writing also was very drawn out. Like, you got a play-by-play of every thought, every description you could get. You got it. And so it was still like finely paced, I would say. But when I realized like what this romance was going to be, I just really cringed and I just didn't want to consume it. So I DNF'd it, and I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know what happens in the bedroom, but I'm assuming it does appear eventually. So I just decided to stop it right then. So those are all the books that I read in January. Thank you for watching, you guys. I'm going to write all of them down below, and I'll put links to Amazon if you want to check them out yourself. Thank you for clicking the links, because I do get a commission if you do buy anything through the Amazon link. And I'll link any like vlogs or, you know, any extra videos that I made with these books in them. So I do want to check in about my goals too. I forgot this part. So my 2024 TBR, I read 2 books off of it. So I'm so happy. One Wrong Move was on my 2024 TBR. I'll link the video down below if you want to see it. And then Can't Help Falling, which is right here, was also on the TBR. So I read 2 off of it. So I'm so happy about that. And then for my reading challenge, which is #ReadChristianRomance, I just did the first square, which is new release, and One Wrong Move fits in that spot. So yeah, I am very happy. My goals are going well because they're doable and they're achievable, and that's what I want in goals. And thank you for watching once again. I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.